Good morning, Hampton Roads. How's everybody doing today? And welcome to the only local real estate investing podcast in Virginia. I'm your host, Scott Jelinek, the founder of the Master Investor Academy and author of my best-selling book, Work Just Gets in the Way of Making Money. How's everybody doing today? If you have any questions, comments, stuff you'd like to discuss, properties you'd like to sell, go ahead and text me at 757-699-4227. So a couple things I want to tell you before we get rolling is if you have not already done so, go ahead and if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to this channel and click the little bell so you'll get notifications as we put out new videos. Also, if you wouldn't mind, if you like the videos, if you can go ahead and just click the thumbs up just so that I know you're there and so that I know you're watching, I greatly appreciate it. It also helps me with the algorithm to get this video out to more people. Secondly, if you are listening to this on the podcast, if you can go ahead and obviously subscribe to the podcast, but then leave me a rating and review. Again, greatly appreciate it. Helps me get this out to more people. So one more thing, we still have a spot left for our event, which is going to be on January 30th and 31st right here in Virginia Beach. If you have any interest in getting your year rolling as a real estate investor, I highly, highly suggest you attend. I hold nothing back. I cover everything as far as marketing, wholesale, rehabs, rentals, raising private money, and slow flips. And so I promise you, we've done a dozen of these, and every single time, every single person tells me it's the best event they've ever been to. So I tell you with 100% certainty, you will absolutely enjoy it and get a lot out of it. It will set you on the right path for 2021. If you're interested in coming, go ahead and text me at 757-699-4227, and I will send you a link so you can go ahead and get registered. So what I wanted to talk to you about today, let me put that right on the bottom, is if you're new, if you're experienced, or whatever your level is, I wanted to talk to you about something that I think is really interesting. And I'm constantly telling this to my coaching students. However, just yesterday and then again today, I had one text from somebody from the podcast. And then this morning, I had a text from somebody in my coaching program, unrelated text, but same principle, about problems that don't yet exist. And I'm constantly telling people, and I'm going to go through multiple scenarios with you, let's only solve problems that actually exist. You're going to be shocked with how much time is wasted on working on what-if scenarios and solving problems that actually don't exist. So I want to take you to yesterday, and then I'll take you to today. So yesterday I got a text from a girl about a video about, talking about the New World Order and is this going to happen? And that, and there's all kinds of theories on what's going on for the future. And anyway, in this particular video, it was saying like in 10 years time, we won't even have property rights or people won't own things. I can't say whether any of that stuff's true or going to happen or not. We just don't know. Like, time will tell. However, the follow-up question to that was, if we're not going to own anything in 10 years, is it even worth building a slow flip portfolio? And so to that, I answered, and I'll tell you exactly the same. I say, every day people, I've heard people say, why even bother working so hard for this? I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? Why am I working so hard? Why am I building this? I could die tomorrow. I can get hit by a bus. I could, whatever could happen. And my answer is always, well, what if you don't? What if you don't die? So many people don't save for retirement or for their future because they're like, well, I don't plan on living past 60 anyway, or I don't plan on living past 70. That's great. What if you live till 90 and you only planned on your money till 60? You're going to wish you had planned a little differently. And so to that answer, I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen. However, I never stop building. The problem doesn't actually exist yet. So we're not going to change our strategies for something that may or may not ever happen. The second one was, I got a text from somebody this morning reading an article that came out. It was like the first 10 or first 100 things that Joe Biden's going to do once he's in office. And one of them was he's going to extend the eviction moratorium till the end of March. Now, while that may happen, and we kind of all believe it's going to happen, we've all believed it's going to keep getting extended. What it's going to be, what it's going to be. However, my point was when I got this text this morning is, let's worry about that after it happens. Right now, it's just an article from some guy who's saying what he believes is going to happen. Right. So not to say it's not going to happen. I kind of think it is going to happen, but let's save our energy on our brain power for worrying about problems that actually exist. So to take it a step further, to talk to you about unrelated scenarios, just as a real estate investor, I have all the time have situations where people will text me or call me. Sometimes it's even coaching students, and they'll say, "Oh, I got this contract. What do I do if the seller says or if the seller does?" And although that's great information and you do want to learn, none of that's happened. So we're literally wasting hours going over with solutions for scenarios that haven't actually happened. Again, you always want to be learning and you always want to expand your thinking and expand your brain, but don't put yourself in a constant state of stress and worry over solving problems that do not exist. And I hope you're hearing me, because I see people doing this all the time. It's all what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, and they spend their time and energy solving problems that don't actually exist, have not happened, and may never happen. So these problems that we're solving may never actually happen. And yet we spent all this worry and stress and communication and talking with people and coming up with plans on what are we going to do if, when it doesn't actually ever happen. It's not even it's something that was all made up, somebody put out there. And so I really can't stress that enough to you guys. Every time you're working on a situation or working on solving a problem, start off by asking yourself, does this problem really exist? Or am I coming up with a what if scenario and then spending all this time and energy solving a problem that isn't actually a problem? It didn't actually happen yet. It does not actually exist yet. I hope you guys can relate and understand what I'm talking about, because I know you're doing this, and I know you're doing it because I have a ton of coaching students and I get it all the time. And I always respond the same way. They'll say, well, what do I do if, and then write this whole long thing. And then I will ask questions. Well, has that actually happened? Has anybody said anything to that effect? And I'll respond in the end with, let's solve problems that actually exist. And I don't mean to be rude by it, but I mean, we're creating this whole world of scenario in our heads on what may or may not happen for no reason at all. And then we're trying to figure out what are we going to do to solve it. I said, well, when a problem arises, clearly we got to solve it, but let the problem arise. Let's not just create hypothetical situations and then stress out and work on how are we going to solve that situation. And that's all I got for you guys today. Solve problems that actually exist. Don't put your time, energy, stress into solving problems that may or may not ever happen. Have an absolutely fantastic day. I thank you guys for watching once again, or for listening if you're on the podcast. Remember, if anybody is interested in coming to my 2-day workshop on the 30th and 31st, I would love to have you. Just go ahead and text me at 757-699-4227. And then my wife will reach out to you. We'll make arrangements to get you in. It's in Virginia Beach. I am 100% that you're going to enjoy it. And all I can leave you with today is do something today that your future self is going to thank you for. Speaking of which, yesterday we talked about requoting your insurance, and that's just one thing. There's a lot of stuff you can get requoted, but you'll be surprised how many people reached out to me talking to me the same thing. I've had the same agent for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and I never even thought about it. And I can't wait to get the follow-ups as they start getting their new quotes in. If you have not done it yet, you owe it to yourself. So I'm going to tell you one other thing, and we're going to talk on another day about amortization and compound interest. But roughly today, I was factoring on what we talked about, how much money my brother is saving per month. And it was like, I think I factored it about $200 a month. It was just under. He's been in that house for 20 years. Now, mind you, it may not have always been the same amount of savings, but I did the math at $200 a month investing over a period of 20 years. And I think I did an annual earned interest rate of 10%. And it was like $150,000 with compound interest. And it's sickening to think of how much money is just thrown away from you. And yes, I'm talking to you, from not making the phone call or not taking the time to email and getting requoted, because it's going to compound over time. And so if you didn't do it yesterday, make sure you do it today. And for those of you who text me yesterday that you're going to do it, please send me a follow-up text and let me know how your new quote came out, and if in fact it worked out in your favor and you're saving a bunch of money. That's all I got for you guys today. Do something today your future self's going to thank you for. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great